In every man's life, there comes a moment when he faces a difficult choice that can turn everything upside down. The story about to unfold is one of love, temptation, and the consequences of a fleeting weakness that can jeopardize the most precious thing: family. Mark, a 30-year-old man, found happiness in his marriage to Emily, a charming woman 8 years his junior. Fate brought them together at mutual friends' wedding, and they had been inseparable ever since. There was another woman in Mark's life, his young and attractive mother-in-law, Linda Johnson. To many people's surprise, the relationship between son-in-law and mother-in-law was remarkably harmonious. Perhaps the reason was their shared living situation in Linda's 3-bedroom apartment. There was no awkwardness in their interactions. Linda might appear after a shower in a light robe, and Mark felt comfortable in his underwear. One day, Mark finally got a long-awaited weekend and looked forward to a break from his work routine. In the morning, Emily left for work, and Mark heard her lively conversation with Linda in the kitchen. After they left, he decided to sleep a little longer. Waking up, Mark felt hungry and, overcoming his laziness, headed to the kitchen. There, he found Linda washing dishes. Seeing her son-in-law, she offered him tea. Mark agreed and sat at the table, watching his mother-in-law's movements. At one point, Linda reached for a tea bag on the top shelf, and her robe immodestly rode up. Suddenly, Mark felt an irresistible attraction. He walked up to Linda and pulled her close. "Mark, what are you doing?" she whispered. But the man was blinded by desire. His hands involuntarily slid to her waist. Linda seemed not to resist his advance. However, in the next moment, Mark realized he was making an irreparable mistake. A wave of guilt pierced him like a lightning bolt. He pulled away and looked into Linda's eyes. Her gaze showed surprise and something else he couldn't quite understand. Linda gently pushed Mark away and adjusted her robe. "We can't do this, Mark," she said softly. "Emily trusts us both." Mark nodded, feeling a surge of remorse wash over him. "You're right," he replied. "I'm so sorry, Linda. I don't know what came over me." Linda sighed and, with a sad smile, said, "It's okay. Let's just forget about it and move on." They agreed to keep what happened a secret and tried to return to their normal lives. However, the memories of that morning haunted Mark, giving him no peace. He couldn't shake the guilt and confusion. One evening during dinner with Emily, she noticed his subdued state. "Are you okay, Mark?" she asked with concern. "You've been a bit distant lately." Mark forced a smile and assured her that everything was fine, blaming work fatigue. Emily accepted his explanation, but Mark felt she didn't entirely believe him. He understood that he needed to put this incident behind him and focus on his relationship with his wife. Over time, Mark and Linda found a way to coexist peacefully, avoiding any hints of what had happened. They never mentioned that morning again, and their communication remained friendly. Mark realized how much he valued his marriage to Emily and the life they were building together. A few months later, Mark and Emily decided to move into their own home. It was a difficult decision, as they were accustomed to living with Linda, but they knew it was necessary for their family. On moving day, Linda hugged them and wished them all the best. "Take care of each other," she said with tears in her eyes. In their new home, Mark felt relieved and a renewed surge of love for his wife. The incident with Linda had been a lesson for him, a reminder of how easily something precious could be lost. He was determined to be a better husband and cherish every moment spent with Emily. Life went on, and the memories of that morning gradually faded. Mark and Emily built a strong and trusting relationship based on love and mutual respect. Their marriage was far from perfect, but it was real, filled with warmth and sincerity. And this story is worth telling to remind us of the importance of fidelity and that even a fleeting weakness can have long-lasting consequences.